you've come to a new country, you've overcome so much, you've worked so hard, 2 or 3 jobs at the same time. And it starts paying off eventually, but you have to have perseverance.
Welcome back to another episode of Newcomers on Fire. I'm excited, super excited to have today Felisha. And you know what? The how we met, I think it's destiny. And let me tell you why I believe that. I think I posted on LinkedIn about how I built a piñata for my 3-year-old for his birthday. And coincidentally, Felicia also posted on LinkedIn how she did a piñata for her daughter at the same time. So I love numbers, I love probabilities, and I can tell you that the probabilities for that to happen in a country like Canada are quite slim. I think we have more chances to win the lottery than for 2 people to build piñatas and post it on LinkedIn. So I say, you know what? We should, go for a coffee meeting, talk more. And who are you? What's happening? And after that coffee meeting, I was like blown away. It's like, wow, people need to hear your story, Felicia. So thank you so much for accepting, for coming today. And yes, I'm super excited to have you here.
My pleasure.
Oh boy.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So, quick question, an icebreaker question, a simple one. If Canada were a person, how would you describe your relationship with this person?
Ooh, that's an amazing question. My relationship, amazing, challenging, ups and downs. Overall, accepting. It's definitely a journey.
You are so kind because you're so right. Like I think for me, today I'm living, a beautiful marriage with Canada. But my first 5 years, we were sleeping in different rooms. We were not even, looking at each other's eyes because we were having issues. But I agree. I agree. Like I think, and the reason I'm asking this question is because you have been in Canada for a while. So if you can tell us a little bit more about who is Felicia, uh, where are you coming from, a little bit more about your origin story, that would be amazing.
Okay. Well, my name is Felisha Ali, as you know. I first came to Canada at the age of 17. So most of my childhood and teens were actually in Trinidad and Tobago. Finished school there. So coming here at the age of 17 was, I'll be honest, it was really quite difficult. Being at that age to try to make friends, to go to school again, to go to college, not having resources to do research before I got here in terms of what am I going to study, what's my career journey, what's next in my life. And so at first it was very, very, very challenging. My grandmother was a teacher. So was my father, my aunt, my uncle. So I feel like I have that in me. And my grandfather was an engineer. And I also have that like project management, project coordination, that side of it as well. And, even though I faced many, many challenges, and that's why I said it's always up and down, I made a point, and I only realized this later on in life, that I have to make myself happy for not anybody else but me. And that's the only way I will progress and, make the rest of my life happy.
That makes completely sense. I love that. So much to unpack. So, the age of 17, again, no friends, everything is new. If you could send a tweet to your younger self, is you're just boarding the airplane, and if you can send that tweet today, what would you say to yourself?
Oh my gosh. I would say trust yourself, trust your instincts, uh, really believe in the skills and abilities that you have gained throughout your life, whether it's up to the age of 17 or later on. Um, don't let anyone crush your dreams. Um, and smile, be positive, push forward, and while also managing your expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So that kind of tweet is something that I think I wish I also had, because oh boy, again, my journey was also like not that great at the beginning. So let's talk a little bit more about those challenges at the beginning. You arrive, pretty much you finish school in Trinidad and Tobago, and then you came here. What happened? What kind of programs did you took? Did you take anything else? Like, yeah, what was those early years?
Yeah, I had really had no idea what I wanted to do in college. Absolutely no idea. I didn't understand the resources that were available to me. I didn't, I guess I didn't look hard enough for those resources, and I didn't know anyone else in college or university or in that sector at all that I feel like I can talk to get some advice. And I'm also an introvert. So it's weird. I have this weird relationship with people. While I love people and love connecting, I dislike it so much at the same time.
Yeah.
In fact, when you asked me to do this, I I had experienced trauma last year, and I said to myself, you know what? Why not accept this challenge and try to do it? But the barrier and challenge was the networking piece and the researching piece. So I really had to, and I don't know if I've still overcome that. It's very, very tough, but I tried to put myself in situations where at least I can smile and say hello to people, try to have a conversation going. Um, but still, it's very, very tough having to do that as being a little bit of a shy, quiet person. But once I get to know people, I open up a bit more if I trust them. Um, so that was my challenge. Starting that journey in college, I ended up studying accounting
Wow.
out of all things, simply because I had no idea what to do. So again, not knowing, just jumping into something. Um, After that, I ended up, like years later, I ended up studying adult education and training, project management, Masters of Education. Uh, so I've done all that, and I have to tell you, while those were huge challenges, now I can see how um, taking those programs, even though they didn't really mean anything to me then, they have really helped me in the roles that I've done in the last 5 to 10 years, like the accounting, even while I'm doing budgeting,
Yeah.
project management, planning events, et cetera, et cetera. So big challenge in the beginning, but I've noticed the rewards as I've gotten much older.
Wow. So with the benefit of hindsight, you can see very clearly that everything had a purpose. But back in the day when you were starting, and I've seen this with a lot of international students, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what kind of job I'm looking for. Like, I don't know anything. And they feel so
Yeah,
frustrated and stressed because they need to find a job very quickly and then to have, a certain amount of experience so that they can apply for residency and so many
yeah.
different things. So I totally get it. But now that I see your, let's say, your curriculum or your experience, it's like, wow, it now it's clear that you are into helping people with their careers and what you do. And you have been working for this amazing institution for the last, I believe, 29 years. So yeah, tell us more about how did that started and why like you love it so much.
Oh my gosh. It's I don't know if it's a funny story or not, but as I said, I didn't like um talking to people or approaching people, and I was basically alone in my classes. I didn't know anyone. And I started my program in September of 1994.
Wow.
And one of my classmates, he was from St. Vincent. So we started chatting. We had some things in common being from the islands. And he came up to me and he says, you know what, let's go walk around the offices and look for a part-time job. It was like, okay, why not? I have this attitude, I must try something once to see if it would work. Anyway, we got hired on the spot as just a student worker. The person who hired us, amazing, amazing woman. I was working part-time as a student while studying. That's actually how it began. I had other jobs, but this turned into the person who hired me had so much belief in me and my skills that she suggested other roles, which I did successfully, and that just took my journey on a really amazing path to where I am now.
Wow. So you have been working for the same college that you were studying. And today, of course, so many different roles, so many different things. But I can see it. And now you're helping students as well, like
Yeah.
with their future, with their purpose. So yeah, tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, most of the time I was actually on the employee facing side, helping employees, um, providing career advice, mainly resumes. And the most important piece for me, which I absolutely love, is helping people with interviews. Um, Simply because I absolutely hate interviews myself.
Yes, me too.
Absolutely despise them. I'm really horrible at it. And I think because I am so bad at it, I can teach somebody else how to do it really, really well. Um, and I've had a lot of success stories where people would come to me and say, having some sessions with me, they did really well in the interviews. They landed the job. Even those that didn't land a job, they came back and it was still a positive review that I helped them. They knew what to do. It's just they couldn't do it at the time.
Right.
Um, and yeah, the students, it's amazing. Most of the students that I've taught have been international students. Some of them coming with previous work experience, some without. But it's still an incredible journey because they are now integrating in the Canadian society, the Canadian environment, the Canadian workplace. And so it's helping them understand the Canadian workplace, helping them understand that resumes written here could be different from resumes written in their own country. The culture and in the office space could be different from what they've experienced. And so it's like almost having to start all over again. And when you give them that brief overview of what it's like or what it can be like in some or most places, um, you know, it, it's like an aha moment for them. And they truly appreciate getting that information before they're thrown out into the workforce.
It makes sense.
They're prepared. They're career ready almost.
I love that because, like anything, it's a skill, and a skill needs to be mastered or practiced to get to that level of confidence. And confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from practice. And having somebody like you teaching or sharing how to do it, it makes sense. And just to give more background on who you are, is like it's incredible. As you mentioned, you have an accounting degree, adult education, staff training and development, advanced project management program, a master in education, a degree in education leadership. You are a career professional practitioner with certifications as career strategist, work-life strategist, interview strategist, employment strategist, and resume strategist. And I can go on and on. It's like so much. And this is incredible. So, and on top of this, you're a volunteer, 10 times mentor of Toronto Regional Employment Council, and a board of directors for the career professionals of Canada. So exactly, like we are talking with somebody that knows this stuff. So tell us more about how, like, for example, I'm an international student or I'm a newcomer. I'm lost. I'm frustrated. I'm angry because I don't know what's happening. I have applied tons of times. Nothing is working. I'm working in the survival job that is consuming my life, and potentially I have a more education back home, experience, and even with all of that, nothing happens. So what would you say is like what would be your advice for somebody like that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Miguel. Well, I have to start off with, I've even applied for jobs, many of jobs that I haven't even gotten a call back or had the interview and didn't get the job, and it's it's disheartening, and it makes you feel less confident in yourself, if what you can do, and so on. But I think, what would I say? I would say if this is happening to someone, um, and I tell my mentees this too, it's important to just stop, take a step back. And this works for me. It works for some other people too. You document your experiences throughout the process. Where have I applied to? When did I apply? Why did I apply? Is it because it's a means to an end, or is it because it's something I really want? And bring the focus back on, what is it am I really looking for? What are my skills and abilities and experiences, um, that can help me get that job that I really want or need at that time? Um, and building back that confidence in yourself,
Exactly.
because it, it's such a negative experience that you tend to feel less, um uh what's the word, like less fortunate,
Yeah.
not equal. And it's also tough to build that confidence back because of those experiences. So I would say document those things that are happening and reflect. Do some self-reflection and just bring yourself back to that, um, and focus on your goal.
Right.
Yeah, what is your ultimate goal,
I love that. So
and how
document.
is it going to help you and your family?
Exactly. Document, reflect, and the goal, the why. And the reason I love
Yeah,
this is because a lot of newcomers that come to Canada, they are high achievers. They are go-getters. They are top-notch, top of the top because they have done master's degrees, PhDs, and everything. So of course, they are, and I include myself in that definition as well. Like I find the way or I make the way, but things are happening. At the same time,
absolutely.
a lot of my stress, I remember it came from being so focused on the outcome. So I will do, 1,000 things and the outcome will be negative or zero or nothing. And I will get so frustrated. And I remember a mentor, similar to what you just mentioned, it says like, yeah, document what you are doing because the outcome is irrelevant. And I was like, what do you mean? Why the outcome is irrelevant? I need a job to pay the bills. I need a job. So the outcome is important. It's like, no, no, no. The outcome is irrelevant if you focus on your input. And I was like, oh, interesting. And just by what you mentioned about documenting, it makes sense because if you are constantly achieving the input that you're looking for example, talking with people, 5 coffee chats a week, for example, or applying 10 times a month, whatever it is, if your input is still there, then it's easy to focus and say like, okay, I did 100 interviews, 0 results. Okay, so let's go to a mentor like you and say like, I'm doing something wrong or something is not happening for me. And then with that kind of data, it's easy to say like, oh, perfect. So usually it's so funny because when people say, hey, I'm not getting any interviews, it's like, okay, the problem is your resume. It's like, oh, I'm getting interviews, I'm not getting any offers. Oh, your problem is your interviewing
Mhm.
skills. It's like, hey, I'm getting
Yeah,
offers, but something happens at the end. It's like, oh, let's check, other variables. So it's like there is always something that, thousands of variables that we can figure out. But
yeah. It's all there. It's important to do that self-reflection piece and
Exactly.
see what's working, what's not, and change your tactics every once in a while to have, like, for example, a simple example here. When you asked me to do this, and I was becoming so nervous, and I went in and I looked at your other podcasts, and yeah, it made me feel more confident. It made me feel a little bit more comfortable. Feel nervous, but not as much as I was, and
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with the research. You also have to do a bit of research to get to that point.
You're so right, exactly, because why we're nervous is like the fear of the unknown. Mostly, that's at least for me. That's always what happens. But the moment that you start asking people, mentors, a community, your friends, and it's like, and they can start providing you more context, background, potentially different perspective, then it's like, oh, okay, you know what? It's not that bad. So, of course, 100%. And the reason I love that we're having this conversation is because we are so similar, Felicia. You cannot imagine. I'm also an introvert. I'm also on the shy spectrum. I love helping people, but talking to a stranger, I prefer,
Yeah.
watch paint dry. I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things that
Or watching the water boil.
yeah, just because but once we have that connection, rapport, or anything, oh boy, I'm unstoppable, and I'm quite loving, and like that. But it's because it is the way that we operate, and I admire you a lot because yes, growth is found outside of our comfort zone, and doing these kind of things outside of a comfort zone. But as a mentor told me, it's like it doesn't need to be perfect; it just needs to be you. So I love it. I love it so much. So another question that I get asked a lot, it's about volunteering. Is it a waste of time? Is it important? I noticed that you have volunteered for pretty much during a big component of your career, and you have really, really good volunteering positions as well. So tell us more about that. Is volunteering something big in Trinidad and Tobago, or is this something that you have learned that it's important in Canada?
Um, it's important here in Canada. I mean, even in Trinidad and Tobago, like my grandparents taught me to help anyone in need if you can, as much as you can. And so I've always grown up with that. You see someone in need of help, and not necessarily money. It could be taking them to the doctor, or, I don't know, washing their clothes, or,
Yeah.
something simple. But it's all about helping people and not looking for anything in return. And, eventually you'll be rewarded in some sort of way. And I've always had that in me. And coming here, especially, um, the first reason I volunteered was because I wanted to also help new immigrants, because I didn't have that, or I didn't understand or realize at that age what was available around me. And so that's why I started. And during that process, I found that it was so important because my communication skills got so much better, especially with listening to others, and just listen instead of jumping in. And then sharing your perspective, how much it means to the other person as well. Um, you're also growing as a leader. Someone else learning from you.
Yep.
Um, I also have to do my own research before I help somebody else. So my research skills, there's so many things that I've learned as well in that process, that has helped me grow as a person, as a leader, personally as well in my household. And I'll tell you, learning other people's perspectives as well have taught me a lot. I've even brought those things into my home, into my work, because you never think of these things before, and getting someone else's experience, even though you're teaching them,
Yep.
it's like a two-way street. And I think it's really, really helpful for someone to volunteer. Not only helps someone, but it helps you grow as a person as well. It's very, very rewarding.
100%. And I always say exactly the same. It's like it's an investment in you. So because I come from a place where it's like I'm not giving my time for free. If they're not paying, no way. So it's like, but it's so important to see the benefits, and the benefits are huge. So I agree 100%. You volunteer in an organization that I admire a lot, which is the Toronto Regional Employment Council, and they have a mentorship program. I think it's a mentorship partnership program, something like that. And they are amazing. And you have been doing it for 10 times in a row. So tell us more
Yeah.
about that, because it's a mentorship program, and I'm pretty sure it's, as you mentioned, you learn so much from your mentee as much as they are learning from you. So it's so rewarding, right?
Yes, it is. It was hard at first. While I believed that I had something to offer, um, I was still young when I started that. I was probably in my early 20s, maybe. And every single person that I've mentored was quite
Yeah.
older than me. Um, so there was a challenge there. I wasn't that confident anymore when I saw this person who was older than me. Are they going to listen to me? Are they going to take me seriously? Um, but if I know a topic really well, I know I could teach it very well.
Yep.
So I had to, I had to let that go. I had to let that age thing out of my head, and really talk about what I know and build my confidence. So it was absolutely challenging at first. Every time you meet someone for the first time, it's like, oh, how is this going to go? But I mentioned in the beginning, once you believe in your skills and your abilities, that confidence in there is there. And I think that's what kept me going. Even when I volunteered with Career Professionals of Canada, I volunteered for quite some time. Um, and my commitment and my drive, uh, that I was really surprised they asked me if I wanted to be on the board.
Wow.
Um, Something I never thought I would do or dreamed of, because I thought, I'm always like just the worker. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so having that experience as a mentor with Triac and with CPC, I can't explain how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
It's
It
amazing.
fulfills you, like it complements you as well. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So
I feel like a person that is needed, that is wanted.
right.
You
And you
know.
have so much to offer and to give. Like, that's something that a lot of newcomers say, like, well, once I find a job, I'm going to be in a better position to help. Or once I'm, in this stage of life, or once things are better, I'm going to be able to help. And I say, you know what? I think the right moment to do the right thing is right now. And I think you have a lot to offer and to a lot to give. Even though if you're unemployed, even though you don't have anything according to what you think, you have a lot. You have a lot of experience, perspective, stories that other people are craving to listen and to hear.
Yeah.
I remember in a networking event, I was talking with a couple of people from Colombia, and they told me, Miguel, wow, in the last 20 minutes, I have learned more than in the last 2 years in Canada. Would you like to be my mentor? And I was, what? It's like, I, me a mentor is like, I think you're mistaken, because it took me 5 years to find an entry level job in my profession. It took me like twice as long for to do things as other people have done. So it's like, I'm not a mentor material. I'm a failure. It's like, what are you talking about, no? But as similar to you, it's like, well, if they are asking, okay, I'm happy to share. I'm happy to give. And I remember that it started like two people, then four show up in the next weekend, eight, 16, and then suddenly, wow, we have
Wow.
a lot of people showing up just to like, let's hear to Miguel's stories, mostly about things you should not do. And yes,
Yeah.
it's about helping. It's about serving and giving others. Sometimes, as you mentioned, is um, a listening ear to, or just to be there. It's like, I know it's tough. I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're going through. I went through the same thing. So
Yeah.
there is hope at the
Yes.
end of the
I
tunnel.
would. I would also add that, as a newcomer, if you know people in Canada, uh, it's crucial to start talking to people within your own network,
Yeah.
the community, within your industry, even outside your industry, because you really never know who you're going to meet, what type of
Yes.
position they're in, and what other opportunities are out there. It may not be exactly in your field, but it might be another passion of yours that you never thought of following through with. So network with everyone you know, and meet people that they know, and so on.
Yes.
And yeah, you just never know.
Exactly. It's like connect with as many people as possible because exactly you are one person away from something amazing. So definitely. And quick,
If, if I didn't reach out to you on LinkedIn and message you about the whole pinata thing,
right.
we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. So
Exactly.
it's really nice.
Yeah, and people are friendly, and people are, and there is a lot of people willing to help because, yeah, moving to a new country is tough, but it doesn't need to be impossible or hard. There is a lot of people out there to willing to help. Um, quick question about education because, of course, you are, well, you have a lot of education. So a lot of newcomers come with a lot of education and they say like, should I continue? Should I get another master's degree? Should I, do this other certification? What are your thoughts about that? Like, is that so important or maybe soft skills are more important? What do you mean? What do you think?
Um, Soft skills, absolutely, very important. For me, I would say the reason I did all of that was because I'm a lifelong learner. I guess I love to learn new things, because I never know how that's going to help me later. Maybe I see something, another opportunity that I'm qualified for. But I'm a learner. If something really interests me and it's also a passion of mine, I will make it a point to try to learn it. Although life is busy enough, I have a family. Um, if I really want something, I make the time to do it.
Right.
So in terms of newcomers having the experience already, um, when my one advice would be, if you're looking for work, it's really important to do your research on the companies that you would like to work for. It's really important to look at the job postings, for jobs that you really want, because you learn the terminologies that they're using. You learn what is required, and the must haves and the nice to haves from the applicants. So, if you feel like you have most of it and you're missing something, there's so many free things online too that you can learn, um, just to brush up on those skills, brush up on something, learn something new. Um, to make yourself more competitive out there.
Right.
Yeah, it's important to continue learning. I mean, even if you're at the top of the ladder, you still have to continuously learn because things change every single day, you know?
I agree.
So I think continuously learn. It's important.
I like how you put it on because it's if it's about if it's about improving yourself, go for it. If it's about learning more things new and exciting, go for it. Now, if it's for job searching purposes, that's an interesting one because yes, all right. Sometimes the certification makes a difference for you to get the job or not because I've seen people with master's degrees from very renowned universities around the world still looking for a job. So I believe that soft skills for job searching it's really important. People hire people that they know, like, and trust. And and I remember this manager I had once. She told me, "Miguel, I'm hiring you for your attitude, and I can train your skill." And I was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" It's like I cannot teach someone to be happy, optimistic, inspiring, motivational, anything like
Mhm.
that. That's something that people come with that. But I can teach you anything and everything about project management because I know it I have done it for the last 30 years in my career. So I'm hiring you for your attitude because that's the attitude I need in my team, and I will train you for skill. Even though I think I had a certification of project management back in the day, it's like even if you didn't have it, it's like doesn't matter because again, and that changed my perspective as well in terms of like education And sometimes people say like, "Oh, I need to do a master's degree." Like, yeah, maybe you know, maybe you need to. They are great for networking purposes. You connect with so
Yeah,
many incredible professionals out there. So,
yeah.
but if you want that to give you more chances to get a job, uh, I don't think so. It changes because, yeah, it's
It also depends on the individual,
exactly
Miguel. It really depends on the individual, what their goals are, what
right.
they're working toward. Not everyone would need that piece of paper, for example.
Exactly.
It also depends on the workplace where they want to work. But you're absolutely right. Having that positive attitude makes a huge difference for yourself as a person and for the employer. Huge difference.
100%. I have a weird example because two of really good friends went to the same master's degree, same school. One is very extrovert, one talks about all the accomplishments all the time, no? And the other one is more introvert, and she is more of like, you know what, I'm going to show the quality of my work through my work. And after finishing that master's degree, which was very expensive, from a really good university, guess what? The person that always is speaking about achievements and things like that and networking and everything, already an executive. And the other person, which I believe like she had even more qualifications and more things under her belt, she's still at the senior manager level. And I was like, what? How? How is that even possible?
Mhm.
But I think it's the soft skills component, the networking, the everything, because yeah. So let's jump into a
The network.
topic that I think is very important because that also goes to personal branding. Networking and personal branding goes hand in hand. What are your thoughts about that? Because I think you have some experience there too.
Yeah, the personal branding is a big piece. But I'll backtrack a little bit. To have a really good personal brand, you have to understand yourself and understand what you have to offer, understand um, what makes you unique
Right.
for an employer. Why would you stand out among thousands of other applicants? So what are those qualities that you possess that can get your foot into that door? So personal branding is absolutely important. I mean, anyone can come out and say, "Hey, I'm hardworking. Hey, I'm I can work with anybody. Hey, I'm organized." But that doesn't really mean anything, right?
Exactly.
Nowadays, because anybody can say that. So personal branding is absolutely important. Who are you as a person, and what do you have to offer? That's unique. That's different. What's your value proposition for the employer?
Exactly.
Um, yeah, that
And especially if I'm a newcomer facing some mental health challenges like low confidence or a lot of self doubt or so much rejection that has already gone under my skin that now I'm doubting myself and I have an identity crash. With all of that, when you ask, okay, what makes you unique? And it's like, "Psh, nothing. Why are you so special?" I'm just like, I'm not special. I feel like, a complete failure. I'm
yeah,
doubting if moving to Canada was the right decision. So, with all of that, having mental health is very important. And we're going to go more into that. But yeah, I discovered that even if you're feeling that way, and even though there might be thousands of applicants just very similar to you, what makes you unique and different is your story, is your journey.
yes, yeah, and it. I this might sound sappy, but I learned this in my during my master's program. We talked about reflexivity and journaling and all that. Now,
Yeah.
I knew journaling worked. I never did it before in my life because, life was busy. And I was like, journaling, what's that going to do for me? Just write down these things on a piece of paper. But because I had to do it for my assignments and really self reflect, it sounds really corny, but I'll tell you, once you do that self reflection piece, and the reflexivity piece, and you start journaling, I asked myself a lot of
Yeah.
questions while I was doing that. why am I not confident? What has happened in my life that has made me, I don't know, have some negative thoughts or made me not believe in myself, little things like that
Exactly.
for those types of questions. And you go back and you look at those notes that you've made, and then you think, um, then I started writing down, okay, what do I have? And I'm not talking about certifications and all that, but who am I as a person? I can communicate if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I can write very well. I can do project coordination. Like I can do so many things. So why am I feeling this way? And so the journaling with the self-reflection piece is it's so crucial to start with, uh, to make yourself feel worthy.
Right.
And if you feel worthy, then you're more confident putting yourself out there.
Oh wow, I love this because it's so deep. I remember asking myself, "Am I enough?" Because I crash. I had an identity crash so hard from being executive, super successful, quadruple the company, travel the world, being top of the ladder, to coming to Canada and nothing worked for many years, like 5 years of like construction jobs, cleaning, maintenance, Tim Hortons, you name it. So of course I was like completely down. And you're so right. Like it's like, am I enough? Like, do I have what it takes? Who is Miguel? And rebuilding that identity, it took time, but now I can tell you that it's like, oh boy, this is the best thing I ever done in my life. Super difficult, but super worth it. And journaling has been a key also in my life. In fact, I have here my journal, and I'm always asking
Yeah,
questions.
so do
Yeah, and you're going to be part of my journal.
I. I'm not lying.
I love that. I love that because see, yeah, see, I hear me too.
Yeah, it's so important. And many, many, many times, Miguel, I've felt like that. Like exactly how you explained it many times, even into my 40s.
Right.
I felt like that, and it will happen from time to time when you've experienced obstacles, difficulties. And that's why it's important to start the journaling
Yes.
sooner than later.
Yes. Because you see the trends. I remember, even though people say like, "Oh, Miguel, you're so successful," it's like internally will be like, "Oh, I'm a huge failure," and then that will be like a big discrepancy. But looking at my notes, I will be like, "Oh, I see the trend. Whenever I'm hungry, whenever I'm tired, whenever I don't have a good sleep, whenever I'm sick, whenever like my energy is low, boom,
Mhm.
negativity, doubt, and so on." And it's like, oh, okay, so again, taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, and all of that so important. And the reason I'm asking all of this is because I haven't seen a lot of programs out there telling the newcomers, hey, your number one job is to protect your confidence. No one. It's like your number one job is to get a job. It's like, yeah, but before that, you need to have confidence. You need to have mental health.
Yeah.
Oh, Felicia,
Yeah.
we can talk about this for hours. I loved it. um,
Yeah. And and so skeptical of doing this, Miguel, in the beginning. But now that we're talking, like I feel like I have so much to share. It's I don't know if I've ever felt this way. Like I have so much to share, so much I want to talk about, so much I want to tell you. And I don't know, my mind is just
yes,
racing. And yes, nobody teaches you about confidence, but nobody also teaches you about having that balance in your life.
yes,
Um, you know, yes, you're job searching, but you also have to take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, then some of your efforts are going to be, uh, is frugal the right word?
yeah.
It's not going to be with positive outcomes.
Yeah, I have posted on LinkedIn. It's like, don't forget that after everything, you're doing this for your family. So don't forget your family, because I remember as a job searcher, as a job seeker, and a person that is like, I need to land a job right now because I don't know if I'm going to pay my rent this month. And all of this stress is like, of course, taking your children to the park or wasting time to go to the movies or whatever. But then guess what? If you don't do
Mhm.
that, you're going to burn out. And once you burn out, it's like it
Yeah.
takes longer, because it happened to me. It just takes longer and longer because it's just a vicious cycle repeating, just and repeat. It's like, hey, more
Yeah.
negativity, more stress, more financial trouble, and so on. So mental health, super important.
And sometimes it takes a tragic event
Mhm.
for you to realize that,
So
unfortunately.
true. So true. Yeah, I remember burning out, and yeah, I crashed completely, no? And it took me probably 3 or 4 months of therapy, going weekly to the therapy, and yeah, just after that, realizing it's like, oh wow, what I was doing, it was just
Yeah.
not healthy, and yeah, like, oh boy, again, mental health. Maybe that's the name of our next episode, Felicia. You know what? Mental health, balance, the importance of the.
I'm going through that right now, so maybe we can do that another time.
Yes, I will love that. Totally, totally. Um, just to start wrapping up our episode today, what do you think are the three skills that every newcomer should learn?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. Um, I would say number one is networking.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Whether it's online, whether it's in person, um, whether it's just people you know to begin with and just meeting someone that they know, talk to people at the grocery store,
yeah,
uh, anywhere you go, try to just say hello and have that conversation and network. Because as I said before, you never know who you'll meet.
right.
Um, the second thing, realize that you're leaving your home behind. You're in a new home and you have to learn to adapt. You have to, it's almost like training your mindset for something different, right?
Exactly.
You have to learn to adapt, and it's a process. It's not easy to do. And understand that the environment here is different, which has a little bit to do with adapting, but also doing a little bit of research to understand what your expectations should be or
Right.
can be. Um, yeah, that would be my top three because I wish I had known these things when I first got here.
I love
I
them.
mean, it may not be other people's top three, but there's so many important things to know. But I think those are three really, really big
The
ones.
reason I love them so much is because one of my biggest mistakes was that I was not working in a transactional way. I was like, hey, hi, I'm Miguel, I'm looking for a job. Do you have a job? And for many years I did that. Guess what? That doesn't work. It's the worst thing that you can do. It's like telling people you are contagious, and it's like just people pushing you away. But if you go to network and you learn how to do it the Canadian way, or the way that is more in a way to build relationships and meaningful relationships, and then you ask for advice, guess what? Everybody says like, yeah, let's go and talk. I'm happy to share. So that's number one. The in terms of research, it's like, oh boy, and why I love it so much is because I have interviewed a lot of people. I have talked to a lot of newcomers, and I have asked the same questions like, did everything go according to your plan when you came to Canada? And 100% of times they say no. And usually it's because their expectations were completely off. And I come from a country where we have this Expo Canada, and they say like, Canada wants Mexicans, and they are paying 200,000 to do A, B, and C. Like, it's so easy. Everybody's making tons of money. And then I start believing the dream, right? It's like, oh wow, like I'm going to do it so quickly. It's going to be so fast. And in reality, it's like it takes me 5 years to learn an entry level job in my profession, 8 to get to the same level I had back in Mexico, 11 to be able to afford a home, and yeah, today I'm living my Canadian dream, and it's amazing. But it took over a decade, and a lot of people is
Yeah,
like, in 6 months I want my dream job. It's like, yeah,
yeah.
I know
No,
it could happen,
no.
but
Unless you're building your own company, yeah.
right,
But I have another important one: perseverance.
yes,
Perseverance. And this has nothing to do with work, Miguel, but I persevered, worked 2 or 3 jobs just to pay off my student loan quickly so I can save up to buy my first condo at the age of, I think I was 21.
Oh wow, that's a dream. That's incredible. Yeah.
And the feeling is great.
Yes.
The feeling is fantastic that you've come to a new country, you've overcome so much, you've worked so hard,
Yeah.
2 or 3 jobs at the same time. And it starts paying off eventually, but you have to have perseverance.
Yes, yes, yes. Perseverance, persistence, or what I call it myself, being stubborn. Just be as stubborn as you can be. It's like
Oh, yeah, I don't want to say it that way, but
it's like either you find your way or you make your way. Because in
yeah.
this generation, especially what's happening right now in Canada with home affordability, and that's another episode. Is like there are still ways, there's still hope, and I'm seeing newer generations more like desperate and frustrated with the process of like I cannot afford a house right now or I cannot do anything. Well, there are creative ways of doing it. Again, with the right community and the right mindset, anything is possible. So I have joined real estate communities and there are tricks and
Mhm.
tips. So again, for those people that are listening and say like, oh yeah, well, before it was so easy to buy a house. I agree. I agree. But today still, there are opportunities. You need a mentor, you need a coach, you need community, you need the same system that applies to start a life as a newcomer. The same system applies to start a business. The same system applies to buy a house. So again, I love that. Um, last couple of last questions for somebody that to try faster in Canada. Yeah, like let's explore that. If if I'm a newcomer and I say, Felicia, what should I do to try faster in Canada? What do you think it will be the answer?
Oh, wow, that's a tough question. Uh, I don't even know how to answer that question, Miguel. How to thrive fast in Canada?
Yeah, because
Um,
as you know, it takes years, many, many years. But
yeah,
is that systemic, or maybe is that just because we can do something different?
a bit of both. It's systemic, but you can also do something different. Whew, realistic. You have to be realistic. Um, what's out there for you? Um, what do people want? Not what you want, but what do other people want? What are they looking for? I mean, yes, you have to know what you want as well. You have your goals, but you also have to be realistic as well. Am I going to get what I want? Um,
Yeah,
but first, I have to understand what they want. So I think being realistic is really, really, really important to start thriving, because then you understand what's out there for you, uh, what to expect, and that's how you would manage your expectations. Um, yeah, and just understanding that, I think, yeah, I would say be realistic.
I like that.
And even though you have passions, you have dreams, and there's nothing to say that you can follow them. Um, but it's not all fluff,
Yes,
right? It's not all fluff at all. So it's just that being realistic.
I love that because that reminds me of what a mentor told me once. It's like it's not if it's going to happen; it's going to happen, but it's going to take longer than you're thinking about it. And that was reality for me. So I was like, no, no, no. I have everything; it should happen now. It's like, yeah, but it's adapting to a culture of cultures that also takes time, and to fully immerse yourself and see everything, it takes time, and also to redefine your success formula or your success definition also takes time. So I agree, I like that. Being realistic also connects with do your research, go with mentors, talk to people. It's like is this
Absolutely.
even possible? And most likely it is possible, but again, it might take time. You might need to build a network first. Building a network takes time. Like
Yeah.
so you might get there, but with a network. But if you don't have a network, guess what? First step, build a network. So I love it, I love it. So thriving faster starts.
I have another one.
Yeah,
I have another one. I forgot what I was going to say. um, besides being realistic, oh my gosh, I forgot. Okay, if it comes back to me,
yeah,
I'll
no
tell you.
worries. No worry. But you're also right. Like thriving faster in Canada starts with understanding who you are, what do you want, where are you going. You need mentors, community. You need to learn how to do networking. You need to build a network. So yeah,
Oh, I
yes.
remember. Patience.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Yes.
You have to have patience because I remembered patience because you said it takes time to network. And if you don't have that patience to do that, you're not going to, it's going to be hard to make it.
Yeah.
You must have patience.
I love that. Yeah, because of course, high achiever is like, no, I want it now, or I want it next year, or 6 months. It's like, yeah, the chances for that to happen, it's a possibility, but it's not like what most of people experience. So awesome. Last question about, imagine that you have a billboard, Felicia, accessible to all newcomers in Canada or accessible to all newcomers in the world. What would you say to newcomers? What will be your message?
Oh boy. Uh, okay, now I looked at most of the videos before, but now it's time to answer this question. And my mind is blank. If I had a billboard, oh my gosh, you stumped me on this one.
Don't worry, take your time.
Um,
Again, we can change, edit, and everything, so it's fine.
be be a learner.
I love that.
Be a learner and always educate yourself, not just with books or getting a master's or a piece of paper, but learning, doing your research, learning about companies, learning about jobs, learning about people, learning about your community. Learning.
I love that. Yeah, be a
Be a
learner.
learner.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. Because with that, that's the beginning of everything: curiosity
Yeah.
and adaptability and everything. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Anything that we didn't discuss? Anything that we miss, Felicia? What do you think? We covered a lot, but
Um, I don't think so. I think we covered a lot, and we're going to do another one
yeah,
on mental health.
I love that. Yes. Hey, I mean, it's so important, and there is not a lot of people talking about it. So okay, awesome. Well, Felicia, I had a blast. As I knew that it's going to be, it was going to be amazing. So thank you so much again. You are a rock star in my eyes. I see you. I see your professional accomplishment. I see your journey, your trajectory, and it's like, wow, I want to be like her. So thank you so much. Thank you for saying yes, and thank you for sharing your experience and everything. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I have to say this was such an eye-opening experience. As nervous as I was, um, I feel comfortable now.
Yeah, I love that.
And being an introvert, this was difficult, but you really make people feel like it's a down-to-earth conversation, and yeah, it, this was nice.
Amazing. Oh,
Thank you for having me.
thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
for your kind words. Well, to your success, Felicia, I wish you all the best. Thank you.
thank you.
Awesome.
Take care.
If you have been enjoying our show and finding value in the stories and advice we share, please consider supporting the show by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
We hope you enjoyed this show and that it helps you to find your way or make your way. If you found value, share it with someone who needs it. Until next time, to your success.